It's day 2 of practice for the PRI Hoosier 500. It is today at the 500, sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gatto, and this is P1's broadcasting coverage of day 2 of practice here for the PRI Hoosier 500. As we are in preparations, they are well underway as we look at the speeds that are on the board now. For qualifications this weekend, who will sit on the pole? Who will make the field? And of this 128 registered drivers, who's going to make the field? Who's going to go home? A lot of people going home very unhappy. I can tell you that much right now. But welcome for being here. We're seeing all sorts of action happening here on the backstretch. For practice is well underway right now. Joining me in the booth, he is my broadcast partner for our coverage of the Dark Horse DW12 series and also the Classic IndyCar series streams. He'll also be in the booth for our upcoming Area 51 IndyCar coverage coming along with Mark Murphy starting in January. He's a former winner here in the Lionheart Series. I call him the Catalyst because he is the reason that I am doing this here today. It is all his fault. From the Power Slide, Private Label, Team Hype, Super Squad, my good friend, the Catalyst, Andrew Wood. Andrew, good to have you here at the Brickyard. We got qualifications, we're looking at Friday and Saturday, where we have qualifications on Saturday and Fast Friday, where we expect fast speeds. But we have cracked the 230 mile per hour barrier. 3 drivers at the top of the list, over 230, led by Seb Alexander, then Ty Quilla, and Chad Simpson. And they're all part of that Rogue Racing IAR Satellite Alliance team. And they are 1, 2, 3 on the board right now.
Yeah, Gary, great to be with you now. Wow, we're back at Indianapolis. It's very, very unconventional to find us here in this time of year, especially. Yeah. It's a cold time of year right now, but these guys don't mind that. They're out there trying to practice and get themselves all ready for this big event here. We're starting to hit the late afternoon hours here of the session. So I think some times might start to come down a little bit later in the session. Looks like it's kind of a partly cloudy day out there right now. These guys are just going to start running laps, maybe tweak a few things here or there, make their cars a little more aero compliant around other cars. You'll see some cars that are running together. You'll see some people that are maybe doing some qualifying runs even, especially if they have to go out at this time of day here. So we're going to see a lot of different stuff here today, albeit maybe some single car stuff, maybe some group car stuff. So let's see how it goes.
As someone that races for kind of one of the super teams, what would you guys be focused on day 1 and 2 and 3 of practice? You'll be here all the way through Thursday with us, and then you'll be on the coverage of qualifications on Saturday and Sunday. But early in the week, what are you kind of working on since you have a lot of time? And in a virtual sense, you don't really have to worry about too many changing conditions. You don't have to worry about shadows creeping, that type of thing. What are you working on early in the week? What do you think you have the most time? Is it going fast, or is it handling good for the race?
I think everybody has a different sense of what exactly they want to work on during this part of the week. A lot of people are that may be a little bit scared if they're going to make the field or not. They're going to want to try and tune in their qualifying setup a little bit. So maybe go out on some solo runs to figure out what speed they have, lap 1, lap 2, especially those are the 2 most important laps where you have all the speed and everything. But I think a lot of the focus is going to be on the qualifying. If you know that you're going to be set no matter where you are in the field, I think it's going to be more of a let's get the race set tuned up, especially if you feel like you're not very, very close to getting a full race setup down based on different temperature settings. You're going to want to try and hone in on that race setup. So it all really kind of stems on how you feel for the qualifying session. Put a lot of qualifying work before these practice sessions start. You might be good. And now you're trying to see if there's other cars out there that want to race with you and try and hone in on that race setup a little bit.
Currently riding with Noah Carmichael as he is the 4th car in line of this 4-car train. Noah was 3rd fastest yesterday at the speed of 228.9. He is 9th fastest today with another 228, high 228 today, 228.7. So he is one of the cars that has found pace early on in the, I guess we call it the month of December now for the PRI Hoosier 500. But he is kind of looks like trying out a little bit of a racing setup here with these in this 4-car pack as they're traveling into turn 3.
A little bit of a almost contact there between those two cars entering turn 3 there, but it looks like everyone got through there pretty good. But these are going to be things that these drivers are trying to really solidify for themselves. Where can I make these moves? Where's my car the best? You're watching all sorts of weather conditions, especially wind, going to certain parts of the track. If your car reacts a little better with a tailwind, a headwind, anything that keeps you a little bit more advantageous than the cars up ahead of you. So there's going to be all sorts of different things that these guys are playing with this week. And as we see this kind of mini pack out here right now, you can tell these guys definitely feel like they need to work on their race up a little bit and see how their car lasts throughout 30, 33 laps or so.
And we're riding now with Ricky Paz, part of the Votive Racing team. And he is right behind AJ Musselman. And AJ, a longtime community member, many starts, many laps here at Indianapolis. And he's just letting Ricky go on by there in turn 1. With some of these guys that are here that have been here a while, someone like AJ, do you think at this point in the month that he would be more concerned about speed, or more concerned about, I think I'm going to make the race based upon my level of experience? I maybe are going to start working more on race. I mean, what would you be doing in your sense, being that you're very experienced here versus maybe someone like Carmichael, who's not as experienced here, is really working on more pure speed because he knows he needs to be part of that fastest 33, whereas someone that's been around in the community, has a depth of setups available to him. They feel pretty confident probably that they have something in the safe that they could bring to get them into the field of 33 come Saturday.
I think a lot of it has to do with trying to make sure you have a buddy that does this with you, because if you're racing all by yourself, you're really trying to grasp at straws and trying to make sure there are other cars out on the track with you. So I think at this point of where we are in the practice week, I think you really want to find someone that is racing along with you, a teammate or something like that you can play around with, maybe find another car or two out there. And it really does make it very difficult if you're kind of doing this for the first time, because like you mentioned earlier, there are some super teams out here who have done this before and kind of have all their stuff really set, ready to go. And it's always going to be these privateer folks who come in here and really upset some stuff, especially if they found something that really puts them in the race. So in terms of the race setup, I think it's just a matter of racing around other people and seeing how it goes.
Well, let's talk about the race setup. They might be working on a race setup. Oh, jeez, Ricky Paz, as AJ kind of got out of the throttle, and he shed some parts as he goes up the hill in turns 3 and 4. He's coming to pit road. But one of the things that we talked about yesterday, me and Luis Gonzalez Nunez, and I'm sure you're aware of it, between qualifications and we set the field of 33 and race, we're getting a whole new race car.
Was that all you want to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a whole new race car. So,
Yes,
what do you do?
yes,
what do you do with all those race setups that that things are going to change here? If you do make the field, do you think maybe now your time would be spent better working on pure speed, knowing that everything might get reset to 0 when these cars get we get a new car with the hybrid in it, everything starting here in about a week?
That's one of those things that I'm glad you left me to this, because everything that you feel like you've learned at one point goes out the window, but it will be the same for everyone. So it's going to be just a matter of, can you figure out what the changes are, what little tiny tweaks you need to make the car more compliant. If everybody's on the same playing field, then it's going to be a little bit easier to figure something out. But if you are a little bit behind, then you're going to be chasing all through the race week.
If you enjoy P1's coverage of Day 2 and our presentation of today at the 500, sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply, and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing, and while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. In fact, immediately following this stream, if you stick around, you'll be redirected to which should be about the time for Race 2 of the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series. We're having a doubleheader. It is the final race of the season, and actually at Seb Alexander, as Carmichael into the wall, Ricky Paz just kind of muscles him up there. But Seb Alexander, top of the charts. He's currently in the points battle for the Indy Oval Series. And we will see if he can possibly win that championship at a meme race in the season at the iRacing Super Speedway. Currently in a battle with fourth in the charts right now, Kyle Klindworth. Clindy currently fourth on the time charts there at 229.7. The man who is topping the chart for our open test in day one is Marco Aurelio Brazil, MAB. He's back in the 229 bracket with the 229.1. Ricky Paz, who we're watching right here, his fastest car, currently out on the racetrack, 229 flat. Then we got Sam Hines, and a name that we haven't heard very much about, but I know him. I know of him. He's from my area. And Andrew, would you believe I went to high school with his mom?
Actually, that doesn't surprise me, just based on how close everybody in Indianapolis is. You know, I think, actually, I'm not going to put you on blast too much here, Gary, but I know you've talked about a few people in the paddock and everyone that you may have known in the past, or you know someone's uncle or nephew or cousin or something like that. And that's kind of what this is all about. And that's what makes this race so spectacular, is that everybody in the state has a stake in it. Everybody that is really trying to make their own sort of Indy 500 history always seems to know somebody, and that's what makes this race so popular and so well attended by everybody around the area. So it brings in people very, very much nearby. It brings in people outside the area, and that's what really makes it great. So going back to your original question, no, I'm not surprised that you know somebody that went to school with somebody or something like that. There's always some sort of extra affiliation that's going on there.
Currently eighth on the board is AJ Musselman. We were watching AJ a little bit, 228.7. Carmichael, we were riding with him. He was third fastest yesterday, ninth fastest today, 228.8. And 10th on the chart, watching this car right here. It is Shane Coker. He is one of the admins of the Votive Indy Oval Series. Currently 10th on the chart at 228.7. Chad Frankenfeld, admin of the Elite Racing League and the P1 IndyCar Series coming up later next month. He is 11th fastest. Then Simmons, Strauss, Wallace, and Vermeulen is your top 15. We've had 36 cars actually take time, and now 37 cars have taken time. And 40 people have loaded into the session. So we still have a couple of drivers that have yet to go out there and make a lap. We had 43 take to the track yesterday. 128 have signed up for this thing. In your mind, going back to some other races that we've been in here, can you think of any cases? I mean, even in real IndyCar racing, we've not. The last time we saw over 100 entrants for the Indy 500 was back in 1982. When's the last time you can really recall 128 people wanting to get up on a wheel and get into this open setup, world's greatest sim race here at Indianapolis at the end of the year here for the PRI Hoosier 500. This has really turning into a really big event, kind of on the heels of what it was before. It's kind of turned into a bigger thing. 128 people. Can you believe that?
Actually, now that you bring that up, this is actually a reincarnated version of the previous special 500s that we've had towards the end of the year. And I remember myself qualifying for these races. I don't know if there was 100 plus people that were trying to qualify for that race. There may have been, definitely close to that for sure. And it makes you very, very nervous on qualifying day when you see some no-name person that may have been working on a setup all by themselves and comes out and really kind of puts you farther down the order and everything like that. But the more people, the more sketchy it is that you're guaranteeing yourself a spot in this race. And I actually think that that's something that's really, really good, and something that you always want to see more interest, especially for such an iconic race as this one, trying to get yourself into that qualifying mode. The qualifying is the best part of this because everybody's on edge through the whole entire thing. The race is a whole nother scenario, but I think having 124?
128.
128 people trying to do this race just shows the iconic legacy of what this race really means. And it gives people really something to think about, because the iRacing Indy 500 is typically in May. So we're completely on the other side of the calendar right now. Some people don't want to wait one whole year to get back into it again. So it's something definitely to look down on.
Let's talk about qualifying. As someone that is qualified for earlier iterations of the lineage of this race, earlier editions, the pressure's real, isn't it? I mean, the pressure is real to make the field of 33. I mean, it's going back to, you know, when you saw Hinch get bumped and we saw Rahal get bumped and just fall down in tears on pit road. I mean, I don't know if that's happening here with sim racers, but the pressure is real. Scott Dixon once said that the 10 miles, the 4 laps that you do here at Indianapolis is the hardest racing that he's ever done. I mean, and the thing is, when you do that, you're the only car, and your only opponent out there is yourself, your limits, and the clock. You don't have anyone else you're racing against. That's it. But when Scott Dixon, who is second all-time in IndyCar wins, says that qualifying for the Indy 500 is one of the hardest things that he's ever done, I can only imagine, though, at the sim level, that trying to get into the field of 33 here is just as hard, knowing the community and knowing how many people all year long have put in time into this sim to sharpen their skills to try to make this race.
Absolutely. You were mentioning before my legacy in this 500-mile race, how I've been on a super team of sorts, and a lot of my teammates have made it into the race, and everybody on the team works very hard to make sure that everybody gets into the race. So we have the most amount of people that are able to represent each other and give each other different ideas on strategy and everything. But to be fair, I've been at the bottom of that super team, and I've been at the point before where I'm sitting here saying, oh no, I may not make this race. I don't have exactly the qualifying bona fides that get me into there. And you know, when you have these drivers that come in here and they put themselves in a spot where they're just right there on the bubble, it gets very, very what's the word I'm going? It gets very nerve-wracking and everything, as you're watching people lap after lap, run after run, say, I'm so close to making it. I'm so close to being in a situation where I'm going to be right on the outside. And nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to Indy qualifying. And I'm sure everybody watching right now knows something like that, especially watching, like you mentioned, the Hinchcliffe situation. Everyone says, you know, my teammates get in just fine. We've been working on this qualifying setup for the longest period of time. Everything seems really solid. But when you go out there, you're by yourself. And you know everybody is sitting watching you, whether it be in real life, Indy 500 qualifying, or even a virtual Indy 500 qualifying. Your teammates are watching you. Everybody in the pit lane's watching you. The next person in line that's getting behind you is saying, hit the wall so I can go out, especially if we're in the last 10 minutes. Everybody is watching you, especially when it comes down to the spot where it comes to you getting in or not getting in. It is such a nerve-wracking feeling, and nothing is guaranteed, as you were mentioning before.
And people say, well, how hard can it be? It's just turning left, and geometrically and mathematically, each one of these turns is identical, but it's not identical.
Well, that's just it, right? Like, it may be identical, but identical doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be within, 0.05 of a second every corner to someone. And when you guys see qualifying later on this week, you're going to see that the times are going to be very close. It's just a matter of, did I touch a curb entering a corner? Did I miss an apex going into one corner? That could mean the difference between you being in the field and not. So it's not just turning, like anyone could turn left. I turn left in my car every day. You turn left in your car every day. That's just one aspect of it. It's a matter of trying to maximize your car speed while not taking so much speed off the tires during your run there. And taking speed off the tires is the biggest part of how everyone in this field is building their setup. So it's very nerve-wracking. It may sound very easy. Not everyone can come on here and just get in the car and do it.
Hey, who would have thought that tire management over 4 laps is a big thing that you have to worry about? But 100%, you do have to worry about the tires. If you use them up too much in those first 2 laps, which a lot of people do, there's nothing left in the car other than massive adjustments on the roll bars and the weight jacker that you could do to try to make that car get through the next 2 laps. So, yeah, even we talk about and during races, and these drivers do tire management over a long stint and fuel management over a long stint. They have to do tire management even over a 10-mile stint just to make this race. Well, I want to thank all the sponsors for being a good part of today and bringing us all this coverage. Of course, the performance racing industry, since 1986, the performance racing industry has been the motorsports industry's trusted source for trends, new products, merchandising ideas, and business strategy. With the world's premier racing trade show, which is next week, an award-winning monthly magazine, PRI keeps the global racing community on the cutting edge. Visit performanceracing.com to learn more about PRI. Also want to thank our other sponsors, Acres Lawn Service, for sponsoring opening day and practice. Oil and Gas Safety Supply. They serve workers across Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia with affordable flame-resistant workwear and strategy gear, or safety gear. There's a lot of strategy going on here. But the safety gear open 7 days a week. Their expert staff stays ahead of industry regulations to keep you compliant and protected. Visit oilgassafetysupply.com, and they are the sponsors of today at the 500 here on P1. We'll be joined very shortly here in about 5 minutes by the good folks from Swift Penguin Creations. Swift Penguin Creation offers fun, personalized gifts from vibrant stickers to laser-engraved keepsakes made with heart. Explore more at swiftpenguincreations.com. Also want to thank Superior and New Track Record Podcast. New Track Record is a weekly show where hosts Caleb Hatch and Justin Kinney bring you the real-world latest IndyCar news and rumors. Listen on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And again, the guys at Superior, if you like sim racing, they do too. Superior builds affordable, reliable sim racing hardware created by racers for racers, passion-driven gear designed with real track experience. You want to visit Superior.com to learn more. And want to thank all these sponsors for helping bring this coverage today. Like I said, about 4 minutes, we'll be joined by Greg and Destiny Irwin of Soft Penguins Creations to learn more about their sponsorship and their business and what gets them involved in IndyCar racing in the virtual sense. And Wood, while we got you here, Andrew, and I was asking everybody their question, one of the questions I was asking everybody yesterday, and this is a kind of a good lead in to when we bring in Greg and Destiny. Kind of what is one of your first memories about coming to Indianapolis and at the Oval? I guess you could talk about NASCAR if you want to. I don't really want you to talk about NASCAR. I hope it's IndyCar related, but what are your best and earliest memories about coming to the Brickyard?
Okay, I want to clarify that real fast. Me actually being at the Brickyard, because I've been there. Is that what you're getting at? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so my very first appearance at the Brickyard, I went to the 2014 Indianapolis 500. That was the Ryan Hunter-Ray, Helio Castroneves, big on the grass pass on the last lap situation there. That was my first Indy experience, and let me tell you, just being around people that are so happy and so proud to be there, it was something that I'll never forget. So it was a very hot day, or a very hot weekend in general when I was there. So that was something that I'm going to remember forever. But coming into the Speedway, seeing all the different vendors and everything like that people get very excited on race day and everything. They don't want to go to the seats right away. They want to try and take in all the sights and everything. That's going to be something that I remember for the longest time, is just going into this big, huge stadium-like atmosphere where people are all there for the same reason. They're all there to enjoy something that is auto racing. And growing up in an area where not a lot of people liked auto racing, that, to be frank, it's not something that people really were kind of their mainstay hobby, right? I was finally in an area where everybody enjoyed what it was, so I was talking to strangers and kind of saying, my driver's better than your driver's better than my driver's going to win today. Hey, I have this driver in a pool, so I'm going to win this money, kind of thing. That's kind of the behavior that I saw, and there was just a general sense of belonging. That's something I'm never, ever going to forget there. So that's something that I'm always going to remember coming to my first time at the Brickyard. Race fans always can come together and find a way to get a common ground of sorts. So that's what I remember most from my first time at the Brickyard.
And on the racetrack is Ryan Campbell, one of our regular participants in the IndyCar Oval Series. He's one of the top split performers in his new Campbell Soup livery. And he is getting in a pack of 4 cars there, and he's going to join them for a little racing. But Ryan Campbell actually works on Dale Coyne Racing. Dale Coyne with a, I guess, some driver announcements here coming up here soon. So we'll be paying more attention to that. But that is Ryan Campbell, part of Rogue Racing, and his teammate, Ty Quilla, second on the grid. And 4th with Glendy in the order as well. So you know that that team is working on some pace.
We actually had a
go ahead.
We had a driver announcement earlier today, Gary, didn't we?
Yeah, it was with the Yukos Hollinger with Stingray Rob.
Stingray Rob back for another season of IndyCar competition, and I'm glad to see that. Actually, I know it's kind of a polarizing topic.
Yes, it is.
Some people wonder if he really deserves to be on the grid. There's been a couple of questionable things that he's dealt with, but I think he's slowly and very kind of quietly becoming a fan favorite of sorts. He's an American boy, kind of up and coming through racing ranks and everything. Yes, he may have some backing and everything like that, but he's had some good finishes in 2025, and
he was among wasn't he among the lap leaders at Indianapolis 2 races ago?
Yes, he was. What sticks out for me for his 2025 run was the Long Beach race, where he was running in the top 10, I believe, for at least 80 to 90% of that race. He qualified decently well, and he was able to kind of hold his own up there. And Long Beach, obviously, is not an easy track to really fall back through the field and everything, but he kept the car clean, and he raced very well there. I think that was what sticks out in my mind for his 2025 campaign.
And what we're going to do here, we'll be joined in the booth very shortly here by Greg Irwin and Destiny Irwin of Swift Penguin Creations. And we see them standing by. We'll go ahead and bring them up. And here he is joining us. Make sure we can unmute him and he can talk to us. There he is. Greg Irwin of Swift Penguin Creations, sponsor of qualification weekend here. And it's going to be a big one. 128 drivers only going for 33 spots. Greg, we know you're a racer. Are you going to be among those, or are you going to sit it out on the side and just say, yeah, I'll let my sponsorship dollars pay for a better viewing experience?
Definitely going to try to make the field. Don't have a lot of speed in the car yet. We were 28th yesterday. Kind of going over some notes today to see where we can improve, but I'm going to try to get into the discussion to try to make it, but we'll see what happens come Saturday.
Let's talk about your sponsorship real quick and talk about your business. Talk about Swift Penguin and what brings you to the sim racing side of iRacing here on the PRI Hoosier 500.
Yeah, so Destiny and I decided to start the business last year before. Kind of goes back to a weird backstory.
You got time. Go ahead.
Yeah, the Swift in that is not just, the quickness aspect, right? Wife is a huge Taylor Swift fan, and it came off of the heels of her getting to go to the Eras Tour there in Philadelphia. Second round of tickets come up, and we're from Indiana originally, so we tried to get the dates to Indy, got waitlisted. Started sitting there kind of kicking around jokes about, Taylor Swift related puns off of being waitlisted. And it kind of spiraled from there into like, hey, wait a second, what if we made these like stickers and things that people would buy? Because, the Swift fandom is a large group of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of started it from there and, started doing stickers and magnetic bookmarks and kind of built it from that point to the large variety of things that we're able to do now and just kind of keep expanding as we go. So, huge race fan, like I said, from Indiana, a huge IndyCar fan. Seemed like the right fit to try to put the business out there to a little bit larger crowd and start expanding our reach of the business.
Go ahead, Andrew.
I was going to go back to your qualifying notes there, Greg. Uh, you said you were kind of searching for the speed there. Is there something in the car that you feel like you're missing a little bit? Is it maybe a little bit of an aero adjustment, or do you feel like the car is just needs to be a little bit more compliant in the weather? What are you guys thinking based on the testing you've done so far?
Luckily, the balance of the car feels great. Not scrubbing a lot of speed over the 4 laps. Everything feels good. I just don't have the speed that some of these top guys have. So I think it's a little bit of the inexperience on the iRacing platform. I've ran on NASCAR Racing 2003 for the last 17 years.
Ooh.
So trying to compare notes between the two, obviously a little bit different than
Yeah.
what I'm used to. Little out of the woods at this point, trying to figure out what I need to do to make it better. But the car is stable. It's okay. It would be decent in race trim. I just don't know if we're going to have enough speed to actually make the field. But definitely enjoying the experience. Learning every time we go out there, taking notes, trying to figure out how I can find extra speed.
Well, one thing that we know about this community is that if you ask a simple question, sometimes you get a very simple answer too. So if you're lacking speed somewhere, maybe change this, change that, play around with it a little bit. That's all kind of stuff that's really good about racing in this Indy 500 community here, especially these guys that have a lot of experience. I'm sure that if you ask a few questions of where you may be lacking one direction, it may be helpful for you to do that.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to reach out here and there with the experience both in this field and some of the other guys that I've raced with over the last almost 2 decades, just trying to figure out what we can do. Like I said, we're slowly making some improvements, but we're not there yet, and that's okay. We're giving it our best shot.
Well, that's all you can do. I remember, I think Nolan Siegel earned a lot of fans by kind of doing a bonsai run to try to make the field, knowing that it wasn't in his car, and he actually ended up wrecking it on that attempt. But it was just the bravery he showed that he just knew it wasn't in the cards, but did it anyways. And I mean, getting the valuable experience is part of the deal. You talked about your experience with NASCAR 2003. What besides wanting to do the sponsorship with the race, what got you into IndyCar? What do you like about IndyCar? What memories do you have about the Indy 500 being from Indiana? I would imagine being, you said in Philadelphia, right? So I would imagine the Indy 500 hits a little bit differently for you in the month of May than it does for the average person that might just be watching it in the bar somewhere downtown Philadelphia.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, right now we're actually stationed out in Maryland, so I had to make the trip up to Philly for that show. But yeah, grew up in Indiana, born and raised, spent a large portion of my life there before I joined the Air Force. Have kind of gone all over the world since then, but every year come May, that's the only thing that's on TV. Gets to race day, and all the same traditions still happen no matter where I'm at. Still try to get a hold of the IMS flag to put it out at the start of the month. The entire traditions of all the pre-race ceremony and back home again and the whole 9 yards, right? So that's just been ingrained in my head for forever, and that was something big within our family. My dad was a big fan of racing. That's what got me into it. Got a chance to go to the race a few times as I got older. Interestingly enough, Andrew mentioned 2014, he was at the race. That was also my first Indy 500 in person. So kind of small world moment there. And then got to be a part of one of the race teams for the 2018 edition with Connor Daly and the Air Force sponsorship. So got to watch them battle their way into the field, Connor making it on the last run to guarantee his way into the show with the Tom Burns effort and the Air Force Thunderbird scheme. Did a lot of the PA public relations type stuff for the Air Force for that event. So super cool tie in there. Obviously from that, now Connor knows me by name, which has been a really cool experience going forward. So very much on the Go Team Connor train the rest of the way through. But yeah, have gone to the race 4 or 5 times. Definitely love going to the Speedway. It very much, for the people that aren't from Indiana, I don't know if it has the same same effect, but every time I've walked into the Speedway, it is kind of that religious pilgrimage moment where you just walk in and you're taking it all in, and just the awe of the size of the Speedway, the history, everything that goes with it. It is a experience, and even if somebody's not a big racing fan, I'd point out and go, hey, go to the 500. You will change your mind about whether or not you're a racing fan after going to that event. So super cool. Got to go to quite a few of them. Was there for the 100th running and the 400,000 people.
Of your closest friends. 400,000 of your closest friends.
And it was a hot one, too.
Yeah, it was phenomenal day. But yeah, a lot of experience down at Indy in person. Big racing fan throughout my entire life. So wanted to get a chance to kind of come out here and see if we could put our own stamp on it and get in from the virtual side, because let's be honest, I'll never have the money to do it in person real life. So might as well do the next best thing.
Let's talk about your sponsorship of Qualification Weekend, Swift Creations. And Swift is another way of saying fast. What type of speeds are we looking at that you think early on? We just cracked 230 today. What type of speeds are you, not just for you, expecting to hit, but what do you think some of these faster drivers are going to have to do to get into at least a shot at the pole here? What are you thinking a one-lap speed and a four-lap average is going to be around here for Swift Qualification Weekends?
So I did a little bit of research on the event last year before I started all my stuff to go, okay, what do I need to do to get in contention, right? They were sitting there at a 39.6 for the pole last year. I think we're going to be kind of in the same average for that four lap. That 229 range is probably going to have to be your lap one, and hope to hold on to it all the way through. I very much feel like the guys going for the pole are going to be in that 229, 228 mile per hour bracket. Those of us at the back end, they're just trying to survive and get in, 226, 227, which is where we need to find a little bit more speed in our car. We're comfortable at the 226 range. But I think I need to get to a 227 average to feel comfortable to have a shot to actually make the field.
If we want to learn more about Swift Creations, what do we have to do? Where do we have to go? Where can we find more information? Where can I go buy stuff?
Absolutely. So we have a little bit of a presence on Facebook. Admittedly, as much as social media is part of my job in the Air Force, I don't keep it updated when I'm not doing my job. So we're a little behind on Facebook sometimes. It is what it is. But you can definitely track us down on Facebook. If you're wanting to purchase things directly, you can go to swiftpenguincreations.com. Actually have our own website. It's all up there. If there's something that you see and you're like, hey, can you guys make this? And you don't see it on the website, drop us a message in the contacts box. That'll send us a direct email, and we can kind of go from there. We've done a few different orders from custom things like that, or the things that are already on the website. Admittedly, I would have had more of it updated before today, but unfortunately, Destiny obviously not here for the interview because she's not feeling well. So
that's too bad.
We've been fighting through some sickness in the household, unfortunately. So the website's a little behind, not fully updated yet, but definitely have a large variety of things, especially going into holiday season. Anything from the stickers and magnetic bookmarks to anything that you can make with a laser engraver. So wood products, acrylic products, all the way up through 3D printing. That's the newest thing we've added to the equation. So in the process of building a whole bunch of stuff. It's just a matter of if it's something you don't see, shoot us a message, or if there's something already up there you like, obviously go ahead and purchase it. Turnaround time. Typically, you can get it out the door within the day, in all honesty. Usually doesn't take that long, unless it's something that we have to do custom. That's going to take a little bit more time. But if it's already up there, usually you order it one day, I'm putting it in the mail the next day. So very quick out the door. And bonus for anybody that is looking at it, because of doing the event, if you use code Hoosier500 with your order, you do get 10% off. So obviously
nice.
Saves you a little bit of money going into the holidays.
All right, well, check out some nice holiday gifts at at Swift Penguin Creations, and check their website out. But we want to thank you for being a sponsor of Qualification Weekend. We wish you the best, and we wish all the best to the wife who's not feeling well either. But thank you for being a part of the event, and best of luck with you and your effort to make the field of 33.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it, guys. We'll see what we got, and then, obviously Saturday, Sunday is going to be a little nervous, but either way, we're going to try to put a solid 4 laps out there. Hopefully we don't hit the wall, and guys get a little bit of TV time getting to see the fast penguin out there for however many attempts we get to make.
All right. We look forward to it. Thanks a lot, Greg. Best of luck.
Okay.
And that is Greg Irwin with Swift Penguin Creations. They are sponsor of Qualification Weekend. And again, to check out them, to learn more about it, and to buy something from them is swiftpenguincreations.com. And don't forget the coupon code they gave you for Hoosier 500, I believe is what he said it was, to get 10% off. Back to the action on the racetrack, Andrew. We got a new top 5 now. Still we got Seb Alexander, fastest lap of the month so far. Ty Quilla out there. He is second fastest. Chad Simpson third, but now Ryan Campbell, he has worked his way up to fourth. Clindy now down to fifth as we have the top 4 all in the 230 bracket.
I've been watching Ty Quilla actually the last few laps or so, and he's been out there, I would say about 8 or 9 laps now, running in the traffic. So it's clear that that team is working on some race setup kind of stuff. So maybe a little bit of race setup with some Q setup stuff. He enters turn 3 right now. Looks like he's out there with Ryan Campbell right now. So maybe doing a little bit of some race testing to see how the car behaves behind one another. Ooh. It looks like he got a little bit squirrely there. Thank you, Ty, for giving us a little show there out of turn 4.
And Chad Frankenfeld, winner of the Elite Racing League Indy 500 a season ago, or a year ago. He is now out on the racetrack. A proven winner here, won in his 12th start, just like Tony Kanaan did when he won here in 2013. And Chad and that Little Eagle squad is working his way out to the field and working his way out to the course and getting some practice laps in. Talk about his experience of winning here, something that you have in common with him. You won here in the Lionheart Series, albeit different car, slightly different setup and everything, but experience matters, does it not?
Yes, there's definitely a lot that goes into a race win here. For the race that you were mentioning before, the one that I won, it was a little bit of fuel saving, a little bit of just keeping your car clean and just making sure you're logging laps. There's a lot of the part of this race that's just lap logging. It's just, okay, it just enter turn 1, enter turn 2. Everything seems pretty good. Enter turn 3, enter turn 4, and just do that lap after lap after lap. And 200 laps is a lot around here. And I mean, going back to that race that I won, it was something that was surreal to me. I had very, very bad Indy 500 experiences before that. So just to be in the running, to even be up there at the end was something that was surreal to me. And it just all kind of worked out in the very end. It was the right amount of fuel saving, the right amount of keeping the car clean and everything like that. And next thing you knew, it was 5 to go. And I'm like, okay, I just gotta make sure I do this five more times. And, you know, someone like Chad, who has a lot of experience around here, he's someone who is going to be a threat should he make this field. He's going to be very, very close up front all day. It's a matter of keeping the car clean and doing everything you can to make the moves you can. If you can't make the moves, just sit there and save fuel and sit in the draft and everything, and stick with the cars that are around you, because everybody around you is going to make some mistake at some point during the race.
You know, for the race, it's 200 laps, but for qualification, and we were just talking with Greg Irwin of Swift Penguin Creations, who is sponsoring qualification weekend. You can kind of hear in his voice that, you know, he's he's learning, but not learning at the pace he necessarily wants. But it's not easy to qualify around here. And while we're watching Frankenfield, who's on the course at the north end of the racetrack right now, going through turns 3 and 4, it is. I think some people look at this and they're like, oh, it's just IndyCar with all the downforce. They're just turning left. They don't have to lift. There's a lot more going on in the cockpit with these IR-18 Delaras than meets the eye. I mean, you could be working the roll bars. You could be working the weight jacker at every end of the race course differently, not only on a qualification run, but even during the race. Talk about being in the car and how active you are. I mean, it's not just planting the foot to the floor and turning left for 4 laps or 200 laps. You're really working. You are really a pilot of these cars.
Absolutely, Gary. So I had just done a 500-mile race here just a couple of short weeks ago, actually, and you have to be mindful of so many things. You have to be mindful of dirty air from cars up ahead of you. You have to be mindful of which way the wind is blowing so that you're using the best amount of downforce you can in certain corners of the track, and that changes every lap or every 5 to 10 laps or so. So you may feel very comfortable in, let's say, turn 1 on laps 20 to 29, but then suddenly the wind changes back to the east again, and now suddenly that corner that you thought you had down is now different. And it's all a matter of trying to keep your car clean. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. So if you're really, really good on one end of the track and that eventually changes, you have to shift your whole mindset to say, okay, I can go harder into this corner, but a little bit lighter into the other corner kind of thing where you were once feeling very comfortable there. So I think that's what it's all about. Is it's going to be constantly changing all race long for these guys. And that's something that's to contend with for the entire 200 laps.
I'm going to channel my inner Tom Carnegie here and to say, attention on the race course. Ryan Schuld is on the course, and he just plants it into the turn 2 wall as I announce his green. As I announce his presence here. But he is one of the admins of this race, and currently he is out there. Even as an admin, he has to earn his way in, and he's out there currently 24th fastest today. That would get him into the field of 33, obviously, on Saturday, but there's still a lot of practice time between now and then. 24th today might be 44th tomorrow or 44th by the end of the week.
That's definitely something to contend with for sure. So, but that's all good stuff to keep in mind. Okay, maybe I went into turn 2 feeling really good the lap before, but something suddenly changed and my car is traveling up the racetrack. And if you're not on top of that, that's exactly what can happen. So that's why this practice session is good for everyone. And you get to do a bunch of laps. You get to ride by yourself and see how the car behaves after X amount of laps. And that is all good stuff that will come later on in this week.
But if you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage today at the 500, sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. It's day 2 of practice coming to you from the world's greatest virtual race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where currently Sam Alexander is sitting on top of the speed charts with the fastest lap turned all month long at a 231.3. Tyke Willis second with a 231.2. Chad Simpson 230.5. Ryan Campbell 230.2. And Clindy in 5th. The first car in the 229 bracket, but the top 5, the key thing there, they are part all of the same technical alliance. And let's talk about those technical alliance. Your team specifically, Andrew, is in a very big technical alliance, where it's now actually a merger between Powerslide and private label Team Hype. And those are some of the biggest names in the community. How beneficial is it to you on the Powerslide side of things to have someone like Brophy and Kraus, so they're defending champion here of this race? And then also all the other drivers that race for Chin. Let's talk about what's it like to all of a sudden add a stable of those drivers to your existing already deep stable of drivers that you have.
Well, you posed the question that way, Gary, but actually the fact is that they took me on. There were a group of guys that really raced well together, and there's been team alliances all through this entire IndyCar IndyCar grouping of races and everything like that. So, you race with a bunch of guys for a long period of time. Sometimes you're rivals with them if you're on different teams, and eventually it's saying, hey, well, you can race just as good as I can, so let's work together. So racing with a bunch of guys, some guys are really good with tweaking the car and getting it set up and optimized in such a way that that the car is good enough to make the field. Now it's a matter of, okay, what do I got to do to turn the car around the track for 4 laps? You lean on your teammates a lot. Everyone has their own strength, right? So someone's good at the setup making, someone's good at the driving standards, someone's good at maximizing the most they can out of the car, and that's what really counts. So in terms of building a super team like that, you got a lot of different factions that cover all sorts of different aspects of the setup making, the running, and the race setup itself.
We got about 5 minutes left here in our coverage. Shall we talk to another driver? Let's talk to another driver.
Let's do it.
Let's bring up, see if he can hear us. He's been waiting in the lounge for a little bit, but that is Noah Carmichael, and we'll unmute his mic and see if he has his ears on. Currently on the race course, 12th fastest. Noah Carmichael, 3rd fastest yesterday, 12th fastest today. How's the pace and how are you finding the conditions out there? What do you think your chances are for making the field of 33?
I think the conditions are pretty challenging just because of the fact the track's been going for like 12 hours, so I think there's a little bit of heat built into it. But in terms of pace, I feel about as confident as I did yesterday. Obviously, 12th may not seem that, but as you see kind of throughout the mid-morning session, a lot of drivers started like hot lapping and running qualifying speeds with tows. So the 12th I don't think is as indicative as what our pace actually was, because before that I think we're about 4th or 5th when it all started to happen. But for a team like mine who, to be quite honest, has zero experience building a setup, and we started building the setup like right before the test, to be like within a tenth, like hundredths with next to like AJ Muselman, I mean, that's a pretty good feeling to have about how our chances are, especially within the first 2 days. Obviously, there's still like a lot of guys left to run, like the private label group. This is going to be an elite field of drivers, and I was sweating bullets when the intro list came out, seeing just how many well-known drivers are in this race. But to be like kind of within like a good chance of making this field, and I would say even have a shot at a good starting spot's pretty exciting, just to see how good the pace of this car really is.
Talk about your team and talk about kind of your experience in the Indy cars. You're kind of you mentioned that you're kind of up against the community's best. What brings you into to giving it your shot out here with the rest of these guys for the PRI Hoosier 500?
So the experience I have with this car is not much. To be honest, I think the last time I really touched this car before that test session was a buddy of mine invited me to a league race. It's called like OMSRL, and they did like an Indy 500K like back in June, and I was like, you know what, that sounds fun, I'll do that. He started telling me, he's like, oh, you need to do like this with the roll bars, this with the weight jacker, and this will help your car. And I understood the weight jacker, but the roll bars was something I never really had much experience with. And then when he taught me that and I started to figure it out and piece it together, I ended up winning that race. Wow. And that was like kind of like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So now we actually know how this car works. And not only that, I feel pretty confident driving this car. So the experience is not a lot, but it's getting up there in terms of it. What brought me here, Tanner mentioned it in the press release he put out yesterday. I come from the drag racing side of things. I do full media credential over there and cover the sport with my YouTube channel on that side. So that's where I met Tanner. And when I saw him posting about this, I was like, you know what? This is a cool event. I like Tanner. I like the Indy cars. I've been going to the 500 for a long time. So why not? Let's shoot our shot and see what we can get out of this car and see if we can, run up there with the field. Obviously, at the time of signing up, I didn't expect it to become as big as it did with the amount of drivers that we have. But, just to support Tanner and support what him and the guys are doing, because to see what this event is becoming is honestly like insanely impressive, not just from the entry side. Like I run my own event, or at least help run my own event with Racing Nation TV was the event we have, the Save the Freedom 100, which is coming up, which was in the program this year, which thanks to Tanner for allowing us to be in that. I know how hard it is to put an event together. I know how hard it is to get all these groups together, especially to have a sponsor like PRI and all these like Hoosier Motorsports and these watch companies and Swift Creations and all these guys. It's insanely hard to do that, to get them to agree to come onto a sim race of all things. So to get these big, well-known names, like when I saw the Laura and MPI on the list, I was like, that is insane that they got this many group of people, like well-known brands, to jump onto this event. So it's just hats off to them. This is absolutely incredible to see what they've been able to do.
Do you want to talk about the? I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, Angelo. I'll let you do a follow up here real quick. Do you want to talk about the Freedom 100 race? As far as I know, that's like one of the longest running. I guess would be Indy Lights, but now you were running the PM18 before. I think now you actually now have the IL15 this time. But that's been one of the longest running Freedom 100 community events on iRacing for quite a while. I mean, I think even David Land talks about it and stuff like that. Talk about that race. I mean, that has about as much gravitas here as the PRI Hoosier 500 does in terms of longevity and how long it's been around.
Well, I'll be sure to mention that to Kyle, because I don't think you really don't understand too much of like how massive or how much of a following your event will have until people say stuff like that. Because we always just think of it like this little silly event that we put on. You know, the story of that event was obviously back in 2020, that news came out that's like, oh, we're getting rid of the Freedom 100. And, you know, much like everybody else in the IndyCar world, we were all, right. Needless to say, furious. We were pretty furious that they decided to cancel that race, especially, you know, with the contacts we have and hearing some of the rumblings that were going around inside the paddock. You know, that kind of ruffled our feathers in the most polite way of saying. So, you know, as kind of like a calling card and like kind of a joke, it was, you know, it was COVID. We all were wanting to have fun. So Kyle brought up the idea, we're going to make this race. It's kind of like, you know, a call to action, but also just having fun. You know, let's do Save the Freedom 100. Of course, at the time, I think that was around the same time, if I'm correct, that the IndyCar contract went up in smoke and we were kind of shut out. So we started like thinking of what can we do. So the PM18 was the best option. We started doing test running with that, and the best way I can describe this was it's like if you brought Talladega to IndyCar. It was just chaotic. It was insanity. And we started doing this event, and you know, it took off for a little bit. You know, a couple like last year it wasn't supposed to go as well as it did, because we were looking about like 14 to 15 entries, and then we made the big announcement of that Tony Stewart was supposed to run that event, and then sadly he had to back out last minute. But you know, that ended up kind of refiring this event, and now that we have the IL15, you know, we started signups last night. Within an hour and a half, our Tuesday field is full, and the way we have it set up this year, because last year we ran into this issue where we had too many cars. We realized, we can only put 60 cars in a server, so we don't have enough entries or enough spots for this entry list. So we started with the event. Earn your Freedom 50. You know, kind of a play on joke there. So the way it's going to work, we have 10 slots for promoter picks. We have a past champions provisional, and then we have it set up to where there's 45 or 46 open spots. The top 45 entries will get a block into the Tuesday show with one open spot left. That open spot will be decided by the Earn Your Freedom 50. So whoever signs up now will be in that race. So we can have a 60-car race for one spot, and it's going to be a 20-lap showdown. So yeah, so it's going to be must watch. That's all I can say. This is gonna, if we can get 60 cars, that'll be massive. But with the announcements that we're looking at having, I don't think 60 is going to be a problem. It's just a matter of if we can get these guys to sign up. But you know, all I can say to people who may be watching, who are on the fence about this, I hate to do like my own self-promotion because this is Tanner's event, but what I can say, I built a setup for that car. We did a couple test sessions with that car, me, Cole Freilich, and a bunch of other guys, and we started running these laps, and I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the most exciting and craziest Freedom 100s we've ever done. And that's comparing it to the PM18s. These cars, you know, they're faster. We don't have the speedway wings, so there's more downforce. We were doing 4 wides into the turns, and not only that, we weren't killing each other doing it. These cars are, you know, they have so much grip. We figured out the way to get rid of that washy effect that the fixed setup has, and it's just, it's like slingshots. It is one of the best setups that we've ever had for this race. And with this new car, like, there's so much anticipation for it. Like, I already mentioned, it took an hour and a half, and 45 spots were immediately filled, and we haven't even gotten to our announcements. So This is one of the most, if not, it is the most anticipated 100 we've ever done, but it's also gonna be one of the most exciting. So by all means, December 16th and the 17th, go watch that over on Kyle's channel, Racing Nation TV. Should also mention this, shout out to Peak Performance, Peak Antifreeze, for those who may not understand. They hopped on board, and I want to talk about again how hard it is to get PRI to do that. To get Peak to hop on board to an event like the Save the Freedom 100 is huge, but also goes to show kind of on a personal note, you know, Peak's on my car. They sponsor my YouTube channel. They have for the past couple of years. Those guys are some of the nicest people I get an opportunity to work with. They were like, as soon as I mentioned this race to them and told them what it was we do, they were like, that's awesome. Send us some info, like in a proposal, and we'll look at this. And they immediately like greenlit this thing, like we're in it. And They're like full in on wanting to promote this event. I'm with them 100% on, like, you know, on the promotional side, like, hey, we're going to be posting this. And they are just 100% wanting to make this event as big as it is. And on top of all that, it's also a charity event for Riley Children's Hospital. For people in Indianapolis, you're going to immediately recognize that name. So not only is this a good event, but it's like an exciting event, but it's going to raise a good cause. And I remember the Riley thing originally was St. Jude, because it was the same year Robert Miller passed away, and he wanted everybody to make donations. So that we moved over to Riley. And, you know, every year we've raised at least over, like, I want to say $300 to $400. So we're hoping to beat that goal too. But, you know, this event is going to be absolutely chaotic. So Save the Freedom 100 on X. Go over there. You'll find all the information all there for signups, broadcasting stuff. You can find a link to our Discord, and you go join that. If you want to sign up, by all means, I encourage it fully. It's going to be one of the best events that we're going to have in a long time.
Andrew, any quick follow-ups for him before we wheel him and go back out and close out practice?
Yeah, I was curious there, Noah, what we were talking earlier in the practice session about what specific cars are working on. Are you working on a Q setup right now? Are you working on how the car is going to work during the race? Like, I would imagine that at this point, if you're feeling like you're very, very close, you still want to try and dial in that Q setup. Is that really what the focus of tonight's practice is compared to the rest of the week?
I can't speak for anybody else, but it's kind of a mixture of the two. So you saw on the broadcast, I did a couple, you know, pack running with the race setup. I'm confident in the qualifying setup, but I'm still, you know, keeping that thought in the back of my mind of where do I really shake out? Because like we're looking at the timing sheets, a lot of these guys are hot laps, so you can't, you know, reliably say that some of these guys are running the paces they have. Like I can say for certainty, I was doing some hot lapping as well, but I know what my car can run. But it's that uncertainty of knowing what everybody else is going to run. So you kind of have to balance those two out. Where, you know, for as a situation like right now, there's multiple cars on the racetrack. You're not going to be able to find that clean air to go out there and do a qualifying sim. So you might have to wait till after practice and go do a solo session to see how your car actually shakes out. So right now is a better time to go out there and get kind of that race run again, because you're never going to find enough clean air to actually do a proper Q run. But it's really a manage of both. You want to get as much time with the race setup as you can, because of the fact it's open. You're running against these guys who not only, you know, have full-on teams behind them with setup building experience, but you also want to go out there and make sure you get as many Q laps as you can, because you're not going to see this kind of conditions where you can actually see what everybody else is doing. So it's just all about finding a balance of making enough time to do that. But with 13-hour sessions, you have all the time in the world to do it.
Well, Noah, thanks a lot. We appreciate you talking about your effort to qualify for the PRI Hoosier 500, and of course the Save the Hoosier 500, or excuse me, Save the Freedom 100 race. We're not going to save the PRI Hoosier 500 yet, but
we don't need to.
No, we don't need to. You're right, but we will definitely look forward to. And I if I'm not watching, maybe I'll be driving. I don't know. We'll see.
Absolutely.
In that event.
Might fuck into it.
There you go. We have a really cool promo video for the race. We're gonna have some more posted within the weeks when we do more test sessions. If it wasn't for the fact that this race was going on, I'd be doing more test sessions. But by all means, we'd love to have you guys. We'd love to have everybody show up. It's going to be an absolute blast. We have a lot of exciting announcements coming up. That's what was so surprising about last night. I hate to keep rambling on this, and I appreciate you guys for letting me be able to talk about this, because it is one of the things I look forward to all year. Not only this, but also the Freedom 100. we filled up that entry list so fast. We were all sitting in a Discord call last night. I was like, we haven't even announced some of the guys that are racing yet, and these guys just filled the lineup. We're already running out of numbers. What are we going to do? It's like, it's absolutely incredible. But I do appreciate you guys.
Good problems to have.
Absolutely. I'm not complaining at all. It was just kind of like, dang, what the heck happened?
Well, thank you very much, Noah. We will wish you luck running your attempt here to make the field of 33. We'll probably catch you later in the week, but we'll see you and continue to watch you as you come up to speed. Absolutely, man. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate all that you're doing. All right. That's Noah Carmichael. Currently sits 12th on the grid. We do have Seb Alexander in the I'll bring him up real quick, and here he is. Here is Seb. We'll bring you up in real quick before we close out coverage today. We're running long here on day 2. You are the fastest on day 2 at a 2:31.333. I guess my first question to you is real quick, draft dated, or was it by yourself, or are you just not going to tell us?
No, I mean there's no need to play games. It's draft aided, and it's a lot of draft aided. Those speeds are ridiculous. Yeah, it was the fastest lap I've ever run at this place by a country mile, and yeah, it was just a fun thing, really, right? I mean, I see Tanner posting the social media update from the first day of practice, and I see Marco's car in the picture. Then I get an email in my inbox saying Marco is the fastest car, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna round up my boys, and there's a list of drivers, and they're gonna put it up there. I'd like to see my name at the top of that one.
Andrew, do you blame him?
Yeah, not at all, Seb. That doesn't surprise me that you put yourself up there. You have a lot of experience around here now, especially racing a lot of the different leagues and the different race series here. So, if as we continue on with this week, are you feeling like you're set for qualifying? Do you have any more work to do? Do you feel like you have to tweak the car a little bit more, or do something that will get you a little more edge, or are you feeling pretty confident and now you're just kind of having some fun?
I'm decently confident in the setup car. I am not very confident. I mean, I think I can make the race, but I mean, I have more to find in my driving than working on the car at this stage. I don't even understand in the qualifying setups anyway, so we have the car to make it for sure.
Yeah, who
but
does?
It's just gonna be about performing when your name's called and it's your time to go, right?
All right, Seb. Well, thank you for sticking around. I was going to bring you in tomorrow, but I just saw you in there. We'll bring you in now and talk about your fast lap. Okay, everybody, it's draft aided, so don't get your hopes up of going a 2:31 by yourself. But Seb Alexander looking for the Marco Andretti lap, and got it.
Before I go, can I just have both of you guys guess what speed I was running as I was turning in for turn 1?
2:45.
2:38.
2:42. It turns out the car it did not really like that. It was actually like a bigger challenge than I thought to even get the car to turn. Like, it's just so radically different from what we're doing with the quali car, and we actually had to like click a few buttons and work it out until the car would even turn to get in there.
2:42 into the trap in turn 1. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just for fun. Very confident in the race set if we do make it, but kind of putting the cart before the horse a little bit there. But I just enjoy working on my race set and doing laps at this place because this is the best event in sim racing by far. I'm having a blast already.
All right, Seb, thanks a lot for sticking around. We'll see you tomorrow. We go to day 3.
Hell yeah. Let's keep going fast. See ya.
Andrew, final thoughts here. We ran long by about 12-15 minutes. We got to get on out of here, but you and I will be back again tomorrow to watch more practice. Great conversation. We see a lot of different strategies at play today, but we're up into the 2:30s already. That might be artificially a little bit faster than normal, but with the exception of Frankenfeld breaking up the party, it's the Indy Alliance Satellite Squad that we see, an Indy Alliance Satellite Road Racing Squad kind of ruling the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. It was really, really great to see kind of a preliminary view of what these guys have going on for this week. I'm usually a driver, so being up here in the booth is definitely a little bit of a different experience for sure, but I'm getting to know some new names. I would love to see some underdogs make the field come the end of the week as we get into qualifying.
Yes,
it's always going to be a very interesting thing. We always see the regular guys in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone feels like they deserve a spot here, and you wouldn't sign up for this race if you didn't believe like you felt like you had a good chance of making the race and everything like that. But seeing some new folks that are really going all out and doing whatever they can to make a setup, if they make the field, that's the best story of it all. And I would love to see that. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing who shows up in these practice sessions for the upcoming days. Let's see what some drivers really have going on. And I'm looking forward to talking to some more people too, especially some sponsors and some guys that are a little bit more privateers in this and don't really have as much experience and are feeling confident that they can actually pull it off. And yeah, this is definitely an event that actually I'm more excited to be up in the booth than sitting on the track right now.
A lot less pressure to make the show.
Absolutely.
You're in the show either way.
Yep, here I am. Come get me.
All right, well, let's get on out of here, give everyone back their Tuesday nights. Don't go anywhere. Soon as we are done with our coverage, we will move on to the Indy, the iRacing IndyCar Oval Series for race number 2 of a 2-race doubleheader that we're having on the channel over on the another stream that's going on concurrently. So you'll be actually redirected to that if you have autoplay enabled. But if not, go back to the channel and you'll see that there will be another live session going on, and I will be hopping in over there. But that's going to do it here tonight from the world's greatest race course here at Indianapolis. Once again, your fastest 3 from day 2 of practice, and today at the 500, sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply. Seb Alexander, you just heard from him. It was an artificial lap. It was a, as we call, a Marco Andretti lap. And he put a good one up because he wanted to get the TV time. It also should be pointed out, we're watching Ryan Schuld. Ryan Schuld just doing some reconnaissance lap. He is not going to qualify for this race. He is one of the admins. That is his privilege here, so he could do that. But he's putting in some observation laps out there to just kind of see how things are, to kind of give us a better idea of how these cars are going to handle. But Ty Quillis, second fastest on the charts with a 2:31.2, and Chad Frankenfield, the Elite Racing League Indy 500 winner from a 2024B, and their schedule at a 2:31.2, and that is your top 3. Join us tomorrow right here on P1 as practice resumes for day 3 of practice leading up to this weekend's qualifications for the PRI Hoosier 500. Coverage begins around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, it's 8:00 p.m. Eastern. And remember, as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know you thought of tonight's stream, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including immediately following coverage here at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're already late. Join us as we bring you race number 2 of our special Week 12 iRacing IndyCar Oval Series Tuesday night top split doubleheader from the iRacing Super Speedway. The championship still is on the line as the 2 top drivers are fighting it out, and anything and everything can happen, as you know, at the iRacing Super Speedway. So don't go anywhere. If you have autoplay enabled, this stream will redirect you immediately following its conclusion. Today's coverage is brought to you by PRI, the performance racing industry, Acres Lawn Service, Oil and Gas Safety Supply, Swift Penguin Creations, Simperior, New Track Record, Visitor Watch Company for our timing and scoring, and Anderson Speedway. And again, with Anderson Speedway, experience high-speed thrills at historic Anderson Speedway in 2026. Visit the iconic home of the Little 500 and Rosebud 400. Get tickets today at andersonspeedway.com. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links on Linktree. For more information on the PRI Hoosier 500, go to thehoosier500.com. All the links you need are in the description. So, for Andrew Wood, everyone here at P1, PRI, and the Hoosier 500 event staff, I'm Gary Gatto saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again tomorrow for day 3 of practice for the world's greatest sim race, the PRI Hoosier 500, right here on P1. Good night, everybody.